Greetings and salutations, fellow gamers. Lukey P here with another episode of Let's Play Supreme Ruler Ultimate with Brazil. So we're picking up not too long after the end of our last episode because something which will change the game has just happened. And that is the US have declared war on me. A bit before I was ready to declare war on them, but I don't think it's disastrous in terms of what it means. It's certainly not as disastrous as if they declare war on us, several years back. We are now we're now more powerful military than they are, in theory. I think our forces are more widely spread. But I'm hoping the US has a lot of garrisons and that a lot of their land forces are over here in Europe. So maybe they're spread a bit thinly because they're also they are mid-war with Germany. My spies here have picked up that finally Germany seems to be mounting some kind of resistance to the US. So there seems to be a wall of forces at the kind of getting very near to the border of Germany proper. So midway through Poland it looks like. So the US is encountering some resistance there, which is at least slowing them down. We, for our part, our economy is in a relatively good place to handle this. Could do with some more oil, to be honest. You can see I've gone on another building spree off camera. So I've got 684 oil fields at the moment. I've chosen to build nearly another 300. And the simple reason for doing that is even before the war, you can see my petroleum usage is climbing towards the level where I no longer can provide what I need to both my population and my industry. So that's what that is. Electric power. Interestingly, that is also creeping up a lot, isn't it? So let's just see if we we've got quite a lot of that turned on already. Let's just have a little poke around India quickly. Yes, there are a lot of places where I've just chosen not to rebuild yet, where I probably should think about doing it from the looks of things. So you know what, I think I'm going to do a little bit of rebuilding in India off camera, then I will be back to talk about the war with the US. I'll be back in a bit. Welcome back. Okay, so what I've done is I've kind of gone about halfway across India, just turning on or telling the computer to start rebuilding facilities where I spot them. I missed a few around this area evidently, and putting down a few kind of supply things just to help out. So for example, I built there because there's quite a lot around the area, so boosting that to 100% supply will help. I've left a lot of the rest of the country because in future, if I remember, I will turn on auto repair by using theatre control and pressing that button there. But I've done that before and that really tanked my use of consumer for industrial goods, and we're already running at a bit of a deficit, so we want to be careful not to cripple our economy for the opening of the war with the US. I have just found Afghanistan's new capital, which somehow Afghanistan have got some land off the coast of Japan, so I guess in theory we should bother to invade that at some point, but I think I'll leave the computer to do that. So our war with the US. So So what are we going to do? So they have got, if I turn on, I think there's a button somewhere which says View Empire. Yep, so let's click that and click on the US. So you can see here what we're playing against. So they've got some land up there which is kind of not really that relevant. They might try and invade there, but the supply is so shocking they probably wouldn't get anywhere. They've got some islands in the Pacific they can use as jumping off points, potentially to try and hit me in Asia, but not too worried about that. I don't think. I think we've probably got enough land forces in Japan to repulse anything. But if they do try and land there, we may have to activate a lot of garrisons very quickly and see if we can get them built. And they've got this territory in Europe where the bulk of my forces are. So my plan is still the same as before, which is I'm going to finish off Afghanistan. And I would have liked the time to build up some more supplies. So you can see here my troops are in effect running out of supplies because the place just doesn't have any. It's not a, Afghanistan's not a well supplied place. So I may just dot a few supply depots along the way. Really, I think I'll capture that town and then make that a supply hub, but let's at least build a road from Kabul up towards it. Yeah, we're already building a road through those mountains, I think. Yeah. That is in the middle of nowhere, but we could make it a supply hub, I think. So we decommission 3 power, and hopefully I will remember to come back to that and make it a supply hub there. But basically we want to build up supply in this area to allow us to hit the Americans here and see if we can drive them out of the Middle East. The other place to try and hurt them is in Central America, to see if we can take some of the land they've captured. What I would love to do is get near to Houston and take all these oil fields, because I think that would do them some damage. But I suspect that's a long way off. So we've got kind of a lot of land production here, which can deploy a lot of units towards the front. We are in the process of building, I just started building, which may have been the thing which tipped the US over the edge actually, in terms of deciding to declare war, is I was building kind of 10 land production right on their border. That may have been it. And we've also got a lot of units here. So what I'm going to do just in the opening stage of the war is I'm going to ask my land units here to go and hit that. I think there's a bridge over. I don't want any merchant marines going out, so I want to send those guys back in because they've got a patrol ship and I just don't want to run the risk. That said, we can I think tell our guys to basically smash that patrol ship. So hopefully we can take out the US canal zone. I'm not quite sure whether countries can still use that regardless of who owns it, but if we can take it and cut the US off from that route from east to west quite so easily, that would be quite nice. And the computer should hopefully realise what's going on, and I'm hoping that a lot of these units will start heading up north, but we are going to set battle zone control for this to be high priority. Battlecraft for that was already set to high priority and defensive, so medium and defensive. So we're going to set that to high quality, to high and offensive, and then hopefully we should start seeing units starting to congregate there. Technology wise, how are we versus the US? So the thing we can still do is look at what technologies they've got. So they've got some things we haven't got. Polio vaccines, I thought I had that, or am I just researching it? Oh, I'm nearly finished researching it. So they've got some technologies we haven't got, but we've more or less drawn level with them. The real problem is that South American unit designs are rubbish, whereas the US's aren't. So we may not have as good units as them. So I think that's all I want to do for the opening stages of this war, and let's see how the computer marshals our troops. I'm just wondering if I want to send all these guys north manually. I think I may do. Let's send you up to there and hope none of you do anything stupid like crash along the way. We've got enough air force. Yeah, let's see how that goes. So let's play the opening day or so of this war with the US. Yeah, so Brazilian Panama's declared war. We've lost. Oh, hello. I guess that probably bumped into a destroyer or something. I think some of those are going to get picked off, but they've been stranded for a long time. I do want to... Where did we lose this? Yeah, we lost a plane here, which is interesting. Who is hitting us there?
We took their capital.
We captured the canal zone, so we're going to annex that because it's a handy thing to have. I might just build a sea pier there as well. Not sure it will make any difference, but so we've taken that away from them. We've got some stuff going on over here, so let's see if we can get... We're bombing them as they go through the canal, which I like a lot. Let's see if we can finish that guy off. Yeah. The game is starting to lag a little bit now, isn't it? So the US are pushing on here. Which is not great. I don't know where our... We must have reserved units there. Because I don't really want to... It's all artillery, is it? That is really unfortunate. So we've got all artillery there and no land forces. So let's see about bringing as many of these guys up to this front as possible. I do need to get a lot of these troops out on the front line, I think, if I can. It's a bit disappointing how few actual land combat units I've got, by which I mean I've got loads of support units but very few units designed to actually do damage. No more. So loads of artillery and supply trucks, but no like engineers or combat engineers or people who can actually do the damage to kind of hold the US up a bit, which is a bit unfortunate really. Just trying to see where our units are. So all artillery again. So if we've basically been building no actual land units who can hold the line, because that's very frustrating if that's the case. I think we need to send these troops over. To try and help hold this area. But yeah, not having any units who are actual land units is going to be difficult, because artillery is all well and good, but you need like a screen of engineers or some kind of land units in front of them, which can yeah, so here combat engineers basically you need in front of them, which can what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these on continuous build. Got any closer to the front line? Not really, so I'm going to also put MTC Mark 1 is 10, 5 and 7, mounted infantry is twice as many days. Let's I'm going to choose to mounted infantry. Just because I want these guys to just start churning out. So what this is doing is basically I'm telling them I want to repeat and automatically deploy units, and I'm telling them all the units I want are units designed to hold the line, not support units like artillery. Should help to hold the line there. Wow. Didn't even know we've got units moving across the Med somehow. Yeah, I'm okay to ignore that. Taking neutral fire from Germany is not a big deal. So we are losing a lot of units. And I think that's indicative of the fact that we are at war with a foe who is finally technologically equal to us. So these guys are anti-air, are they? So I don't want to leave them, I want to take them out. Oh, I've captured Afghanistan, I'm going to annex that as well. So let's just pause and have a wander over here so you can see the supply's a bit So barracks we like, that we don't, because it's only small coal. But what we do want is we want supply depots and an air base. Captured that as well. Let's put a supply depot there. Don't really want any of this other stuff, so let's scrap that. Don't really want that in the middle of the desert. Let's make this a little, need to give it a tick, don't we, to make these supply hubs. So what happens is basically the game doesn't realise that I've conquered this yet, so in a day's time, when it ticks over, I suddenly have the ability to build in these places. Yeah. Loads and loads of AA guns, so air units. I'm going to recommend you guys head back over there temporarily. Yeah, shame we can't you don't want to be flying up there. Ignore, don't care. So the US is sending over Corsairs, whatever they are, so let's have a look. Okay, they're not them. They're not them. Are they patrols? They are, so I don't really much care, because I think our anti-aircraft will probably shoot those out the sky. Now none of you guys appear to be moving, so I'm going to ask that all of you go to the front line. That would be most useful. So I'm sure eventually the fact that we are pumping out, 230 units at a time will start to tell, but at the moment we're a bit short of units in that area, which is not ideal for a war with the US. Let's sort out our supply here. Now we've ticked on a day, so 2 supply and a airfield for now. That needs to have a barracks, 2 supply and an air base, I think. And from there a route to the front line. And that there needs airfield. 2 supply. And let's build a road from there to there. From there to there. Okay, so that will take a while, but eventually, have you got any engineers down here? Oh, that's a border with Germany, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think we could really pop down much here, because the supply is so poor. So we don't need this one immediately because it's for the border with Germany, but it will just help if there are any units trying to make their way across there to the front line to have a supply hub part way along the way. Okay, so I think that will do for Afghanistan for now. We'll leave those to build, and we'll go and focus on the war in Central America, which is where I think we're going to struggle a bit. Wow, that's a big land battle. Here we got some engineers out. You should go for repairs. There's no point you having supply units out where you're not needed. So we can't send in the Air Force to take them out this time because you're too close to AA guns. So I fear we're going to take some losses there. We got an anti-tank. So let's watch that anti-tank. What we do need to do is to try and damage some of their infrastructure. So let's get some espionage up. Let's tell them we want some sabotage, and I want sabotage there and there. I want to double up on that and double up on that. And we'll just try and make it a bit difficult for their units to get around or get any kind of repair or respite near the front line. Fighting each other a little bit to a score draw here. What I'm just thinking is the computer in its infinite wisdom is going to suicide a lot of my units, I think, by pretending it can take areas it can't, but actually no, that's alright because there's not much in that battle zone to capture, so it's alright to have that on high as well. Okay. The lag is getting pretty bad now. I do want to get these artillery into play. Then let's bring our AA up so if they fly over anywhere we can just swat them out of the sky.
Took their capital.
Lag. So they are pounding us here. I think we do need to try and get We do need to bring in some more of our aircraft, I think. What have we got stored up here? Have we got any land units in reserve? We haven't. We've got a tank on its way. Let's send you to the front line. I think we need to run the risk with these guys and get them over the battle zone, because we're in danger of getting overrun there, I think. Send in some Stuka bombers and see if we can look to do is okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we want all of our forces in this area, I think, because the US are going to throw stuff at us, and if we can hold this and kill as many of their units as they kill of ours, the advantage is sooner or later it will tell that I can build more units than them. They do have a small chunk of armies basically marching towards that area, so we do need to sort ourselves out basically. Try and get more units going towards that front line. I'm just finding it unbelievable that all of our units here appear to be support units. The only thing I can think of is that the computer has chosen to send all of our land fighting units to over to Asia, which may be why we're smashing our way through there. Oh, it looks like our units are, yeah, they've decided to try and make a push on this is where they are, isn't it? I mean, look at that. That is 425 probably land combat units. That's where they all are, isn't it? Is in Asia. So I think we're probably steamroller across the US's Middle East possessions pretty rapidly. Like we built supply units or supply depots there. Must have missed that one. Make that an air base. You're a combat engineer, help with the construction. All you combat engineers, help with the construction. That'll do. Okay. Once again, an absolute array of support units. And no real sign of fighting units. No, it's not you I want to send over there, it's you I think, because you will spot what's going on. Ah, we have subs and capital ships. Well, we can probably move them. Suffering quite a lot of losses. Where are all these mounted infantry, brain carriers? And they're all in Asia. I'm just wondering about turning a bunch of them around, telling them they need to try and make their way back. Okay, I'm aware this episode is running on a little bit, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that up there. My aim will be to hold this area. That is my main aim of the war right now. The US have got a lot of forces. My spies can see them starting to stream down towards that area, so we need to try and hold this area, and then eventually we should have these land productions up here, and hopefully we can build some units to act as a bit of a screen for our artillery and make this a bit of a death zone for the US as they march in and get hit by artillery. But yeah, let's see how we get on. Okay, we will wrap this episode there. I hope you're enjoying the big battle with the US. I think this is the battle which will decide who gets the world conquest. If I get the world conquest this playthrough, because Germany are looking a little bit like a paper world power at the moment, because they're not really doing much against the US, and a lot of the US's forces evidently seem to be here. So how on earth they are, well, they have been pounding the Germans so badly in Europe, I don't know. But yeah, thank you as always for watching. I'm Lukey P, and I will see you again soon.